Hey, what's up, friends? This is Chris Jansen. I'm here excited about freedom under natural law, number five, coming up February 21st and 22nd. And we've been doing some great little interviews with our fantastic presenters. And I got with me Konrad, my man's here, talk a little bit about what he's got in store for us for Funnel 5. Konrad, thanks for joining us for the Funnel 5 conference. Really appreciating it and looking forward to what you're going to share.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me, and I was so glad to be a part, one of those amazing presenters. I was so glad to be on last year, and then I didn't think I was going to be on this year, and then boom, it just came about very recently. So uh, I'm super excited about it, and as we kind of talked a little bit before this, it's a challenge. I want to challenge myself. I take it as a challenge, and like, okay, let's go outside of my comfort zone a little bit. Let's put myself out there. And if there's one thing I learned being at the first funnel conference is don't leave anything on the table. Like, don't, when you get the opportunity to connect with people, with our community, like, you got to take every drop of it, because that tends to be rewarded. And that's what happened with funnel. That's what happened with soundpath. And I'm very happy to be uh, embraced, and to give back, right?
Yeah, and that giving back's a lot about the theme this year. We do put some thought into each conference and the progression of where we're trying to go with this thing. And so we came up with the theme Ignite Hearts and Minds. And so I'm curious how that hits you and the theme with the fire. What does that bring up in you? Flame on.
It's really interesting, symbology and iconography, because I think about the five, and like, okay, what is it going to be about the five? Is it going to be the throat chakra, something? uh, but of course, the pyramid, you start out with the square, and then you have your fifth point, which is the top. And of course, the pyramid has the root word, the pyr, the pyro, and all of those words. So off the top of my head, I'm not too even familiar, like, I'm not too tight on what that connection is between igniting fire and the number five. But that the way it hits me is, well, of course, it's like it's just a new way to say what funnel one and two and three was already saying. Is we are trying to spark action, where we're taking these ideas that we were exposed to through Mark Passio, coming online in this tyrannical world, and the fire has been there the whole time. And it's like, you could say freedom under natural law. That makes sense. That says what we're trying to convey is that a different way of living, right? And then what was the second one? Convergence, or no? That's that second one. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, I won't go through the whole thing, but the way it hits me is it is like I'm looking in the mirror, and the things that are happening to me in my life are telling me what has been staring me in the face, which is, it really is this thing, this fire I have in myself, that's telling me the way that it's to this point is not good enough. There's more to do. There's further to go. There are new places, and there's this fire, whether it's a flame or a candle, that is not going to go away. And it sorry about the barking outside. I don't know if you heard that. But anyway, the fire is there. And and that is actually the topic of presentation this time. Natural volunteers is exactly that. It's about going where the light has been shined on before. That's kind of the central myth. Shining the light on the unexplored parts of natural law, on what we still have to do as far as the philosophy, thinking about it as the philosophy itself. Are we done? I know there's nothing new under the sun, but as far as the philosophy is concerned, there's way more to do. Like, Thomas Paine didn't say it, Mark Passio didn't say it all. And that and that's because the world is developing, and as we evolve, while the morality of this world is out of whack, the morality, the moral philosophy as a whole, of course, is in a terrible state. We don't live in a state of freedom, where there's suffering, and injustice all over the world. So as that happens, there are going to be more problems to solve. So actually, it's not that it's good, but we have more of an opportunity to present new philosophy because the world is so upside down, like the realm of AI, right? Everything having to do with the moral questions about that, questions about moral philosophy. Say this is the way you treat human beings, but now it's a machine or a computer that is throwing things at you. And say if that what if that computer um, is invoking natural law, right? How do we respond to that? How do we verify that? It's just off the top of my head when I'm thinking about frontiers and the unexplored parts of this philosophy. And it's a lot in the spirit of my conversation last year about the sonic divorce. Like it's a call to action. It's a call for a revival. I just can't help but do this when you give me an opportunity. I see where things are at, and I yank it the other way just to kind of turn the camera in the other direction. So that is a way too long and convoluted summary of a very simple and focused presentation that I'm going to be delivering a few weeks from now.
Yeah, it's like the constant work of how do we say things. And you were right. The second one was convergence, and then we had the trivium. And the whole idea was we like, okay, we get people's attention, freedom under natural law, and then we try to bring them all together. And then we start with some ground rules, like how do we even talk about things to begin with? We need a structure, right? We try to set up some sort of structure and put some ideas out there, and then now focusing it, right? Trying to get everybody to focus. Like, what can we do now that, some of us are all paying attention to the same thing? And like what we realize is we need to ignite a lot more hearts and a lot more minds. There's a lot of work to be done to make any progress in the big picture, because this whole change that we're all trying to hope for and invoke requires, a group effort. It's going to require a lot of people to ensure freedom for the future, and that seems like we're going in the opposite direction. So things are crazy out there in the world right now. So I guess it really comes down to what is it that you think you can particularly share that will help change the dynamic, going forward. What can you inspire in people to help change? I mean, it seems like the majority of people either don't care, aren't speaking out in effective manner, and this message is not getting out there effectively enough. So what can we do? What does your message have to, light that fire up some people? That's kind of what I'm curious about.
And that is a great question, and it's kind of a central question. We've we've been thinking this for a while, you and I, way before we did that song together, and before we even linked up. Like this is the issue that we're dealing with. So my answer is invention, the spirit of invention, ignition, to maybe not so much push and force and convince people, because this is what we try to do, and we can't help but do that this is what you do when you figure out, when you find a new solution and you want to share it with the world, with your family, with your friends, your loved ones. You're going to try to convince them that you know where you're going, that uh, what you're talking about. And us as the natural law community, the One Great Work Network and everything, is we have the right answers. We try to convince, or we think we have the right answers, and then we're not listened to. So it's very hard not to just push further and just keep doing the same things to try to convince people, because we have the right answer. And this is preaching to the choir. We all know this, but it's easy to say, harder to do. But it is the quote that has been the one that has been on my mind, that kind of defines what I'm going to be talking about. And the answer to your question is the Buckminster Fuller quote about to not fight against existing systems, but to destroy existing systems, invent one that makes the existing system obsolete. Right. So it's the spirit of invention, and that is similar to the word ignition. It's connecting the moral philosophy with creativity. It's like an extension of my talk last year about music, right? But it's not just music, it's not just art. This one is more specifically about philosophy. Like the example that I give is, I think lying is the most controversial, or the most, it's the softest of the natural law transgressions, in the way that, uh, I don't think we can say that every lie is immoral in the same way. You know what I mean? Excuse me. So there's a lot to be explored there. What kind of lies? Like, what makes that lie? Well, it's really about where the property is, where the claim of wrongdoing is, and who has the claim to what. Is truth, who does truth belong to? Can it be stolen? Where did you steal it from? Is there less truth because somebody lied? I'm not saying that I have all the answers, right? Because that would be way more than a 20-minute presentation. But this is just an example of, like, that's what I see as a frontier, things that we should iron out. And I want to get your thoughts on that. All of us in the community, I think, have a lot of thoughts on that. And what I'm just calling for, thirsty for, is a philosophical revival as well, of people putting forth philosophy that's different. But it's again, it's me pointing the finger at me. It's very much bouncing off of the shadow work seminar, looking at ourselves, not just ignition, not just individual but collective, and looking, okay, how do we do something differently than it's always been. So
Makes me
yeah,
think of
that's me thinking
some
myself.
right. And what else does whether it be a martial artist or someone who's amazing at cooking, someone who's wants to be a masterful painter, whatever art or trade a person were to do, at what point would that person say, "Oh, I invented the light bulb. I'm done inventing for the rest of my life. I got it." Like, so for the world of philosophy, that dictates the realm of living, right? A lot of how we live is based on the philosophies that we and our belief systems that we proceed with. So if we're not constantly working on that, we're just sort of accepting a subpar, going forward. And what I find to be very interesting is, and I mentioned this in my conversation recently with Mark Passio. I was like, people sometimes, you get the feeling that people think you or I are being bitter or negative because we're saying, the world's in real bad shape. We're in a state of slavery, but really, the message is very optimistic. It's one of saying, I see a way, I see hope. It would require a lot of people changing their paradigm and way of thinking and beginning to relate in each other in a different way. But I do see a way, and that's the whole point of creating the End Evil podcast, or doing what you do, is that we're trying to tell people there is a way to help things get better. There is a way to encourage change. So, that's a positive message. So I just thought you might want to comment on that whole black pill versus being optimistic, and how do we even imagine a better future when we're so overwhelmed with the negativity of today's world?
Yeah, I mean, like, if you were black pill, would you write this? Would you have this book? Would you be selling this book? Would we be reading this? This is kind of very much tied in with what I'm trying to get across. Is we Yeah, when we're just going week to week and just talking about what's going on, trying to convince people, like I do on my show. I've done 164 episodes consecutively. You know, uh, maybe this is like therapy for me. It's hard not to come across as black pilled, because we're just constantly in that push and pull and that tug of war. And it's like trying to talk to a girl. You're meeting a girl, you're trying to get her attention, but you're trying really hard, and that is tangible. It's tangible that you're trying to reverse something, you're trying to pull, when that dynamic should be free and open and light. It's very much about taking it light. And that's what I catch. Even the way you started out saying that is, hey, we have the right way. No, it's not easy, but there is something new that we're trying to share with the people here. Um, yeah, bitterness, it can absolutely go there, and I have gone there. I've had a great year, but it's also been tough in many ways. I was it's actually interesting. This is a bit of a random insight. Maybe I have nothing to do with funnel, but as much as I've been externally very consistent, like with what I'm doing, like you wouldn't be able to tell that I'm not off the rails or anything, you know. But it's been a very tumultuous time, and I was surprised by that. I didn't expect that in my like fourth year of being online and doing this stuff. So it's like, huh, that's interesting. So we're operating in a constantly changing environment. Life is going to hit us with what we don't really expect, uh, and when you get hit with the unexpected, you can respond negatively and turn bitter real quick. I've been there, you know. It does happen sometimes. So yeah, it's turning it into the shadow work conversation, I suppose, because uh, it doesn't that doesn't stop. That's kind of central, I guess, to the whole thing from day one. Is it we have the right answer, but it requires a lot of people changing how they're living, how we relate to each other, and all that. So um, it's forward but circular in a way, you know, in a very funny way. I'm trying to say something new, but I end up saying the same thing.
Yeah, like, so much of this philosophy, this realm is, always there's this paradox, in everything where, yeah, it's true, but it's not true kind of thing, or everything stays the same, but it's different. It's like, yeah, it is a new thing that humanity is going through, but it is also the same old thing, and
Yeah,
it has been said in a billion ways all through time. And somehow it's an eternal truth and these eternal principles that need to be recognized and discovered. But it is a new process in the context of the world today, because it's never been, you know, this point in time where AI is breaking loose and we have the internet all over the world, and Konrad's running truthandlaw.com.
mm,
You know, it's never been the exact time with the exact people and the exact voices and situations we're in as it is now. So it is new, but also it's that same old struggle: slavery versus freedom. And so, are we going to care? Are we going to put in enough effort? Are we going to change the dynamic, or are we just going to sit back and let it do what it's going to do? And so it's up to me and it's up to you. I'm going to give you the mic and say whatever you can say in the last couple minutes here to inspire people to go to the funnel conference uh, and find some inspiration.
yeah. So here it is, right? The best thing about this is I don't have to hit the bullseye. I can put out something that lands flat or is wrong even. But as long as I did it, I tried to do it. It gives the person that comes after me the chance to, you know, to be the peak or the valley in that paradox and the ever-changing sine wave of life that has its own opposites and paradoxes and dualities. Uh, all will be well, and someone's got to lead, and then someone will follow. So it's moral and philosophical courage that is most important, to go and put something out there, and to keep putting something out there, right? As these tumultuous events go off in our life, uh, the key is just to put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes you're going to be the left foot, sometimes you're going to be the right foot, sometimes you're the hammer, sometimes you're the nail. And just some carpenters slash construction guys telling you about the moral principles and philosophy, the beauty of life that we see in our daily life. So look at the funnel conference, check out funnel before we all get old, and it'll be in the next generation's hands to ignite it in their own way. Thank you guys so much. I don't know if I'm still out here. I don't know if you're still here. I don't know. I'm still here. I don't know who's editing this, but thank you so much, Chris. There he is. He was backstage the whole time. It's just like the universe, you know. You think it's going to put you in a crazy situation, but it's there walking with you the whole time.
Yep, it's always there waiting for you to make the next choice. And thanks, Konrad. Much love, and we'll see you guys at the Funnel Conference.
Thank you.
Funnel 5, a free 2-day online conference.
Ignite hearts and minds.
The event that will spark truth, love, and freedom.
February 21st and 22nd, 2026.
For more information, visit freedomundernaturallaw.com.
Please come in extra large.
Lays deep, yeah, the world's asleep. I'm trying to ignore, but the truth still creeps. I'm looking around at all these peeps, they sheeps. I wanna stay calm, but they dropping bombs, trafficking kids, and it's still going on. Yeah, we all know that shit's wrong.
Yeah, we all know it, but we don't say much. We're the ones who power the matrix. With our silence and by inaction, even when you pick up steam, another faction creeping in tribal alignment. This is the system. Even rebels here, they told the line. Quite the mountain to climb through handcuffs and vines. Now it's high tech, you gotta take two online. Break the same old game, I'm getting sick of the lies. Another word to the wise, we got the endless supply.
Men's laws like Comic-Con gods, no more real than Santa Claus. Hard to preach, cause they all hate this. Tossed in the maze, let's escape this matrix. There's an effect for every cause. Let it all sink in, take a minute to pause.
And where we pick it up, we telling everybody we know. If it's not the law of man, then it's his ego. Battling against it, how can we escape? The grid is held up by unwillingness to change. Don't be a stranger, so just feel the range. We're supposed to know better and show the way. Escape is the place that I know, but not a way. Take the truth, overflow, the flow over.
Let the truth seep, drip underneath. Gotta find a way to wake from the sleep. It's an endless dream, yeah, things aren't what they seem. What is the value of a human being? The latest craze, it all stays the same. If you're looking at the walls inside this maze, you gotta escape, yeah, even if you hate this. Don't wanna see it, but you're trapped in a matrix.
Trapped in a box with the chains and locks. And you could test it out, chase the flame and watch. You could go the other way, you'll be stopped by everyone, from your loved ones to the cops. But I'm too obstinate, push back a lot. Just two philosophers, unwrap the box, you find a volume of the greatest quotes. And there's a spot for you, write your name, that's the way out.
Dazed, lost in confusion, spaced, race, they're lost in delusion. See those lies, keep them clear of me. I'm not afraid of conspiracies. What you gonna do when the time comes? Locked up in a box, feeling dumb till the sun comes. Leak streaks of grief underneath. Yeah, darkness seeps into your soul. You choose your goal.
Right, makes me think, what is the goal of life? All those who see nothing wrong with it, it's all wrong. Even family life is based on dominance. There's a lot I got a problem with. Don't get me started on the politics, that's Matrix Light. We gotta see the real control of mind, now I'm dropping it. Don't let them take away your values and accomplishments. Moral apocalypse.
Looking in the mirror at the missing pieces, smashed on the ground, skin teeth mixed with feces. Lost dreams, fleeced by the sheep, dressed in sheets. You got a story to be told, let the truth unfold. It is what it is, but it's also what you make it. You'll be a mat if you stand there and take it. Don't wanna waste it, freedom so close you can almost taste it. Got the pills popped and the clocks won't stop. We got lost in the cost of thoughts, yeah, whoa, no. Where did my feelings go? In my head again, got no flow. Yeah, where's my soul? It's out on the road. Can't escape this world if you don't know. Natural law's the only way to go. Natural law's the only way to go, yo.